Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to World One Development's News You Can Use with your hosts, Mr. Charles Harper and Miss Damali Wilson.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to World One Development's News You Can Use. We want to thank everyone for either listening on the radio, watching us on Facebook Live, or on www.KBOB899.com, or tuning into any of the News You Can Use media networks, which are powered by World One Development. We really appreciate that. I am your hostess with the mostest, Mr. Molly Wilson.
And I'm Charles Harper. It's Wednesday, a.k.a. Hump Day, July 9th, 2025. And we are live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. right here on KBOB 89.9 FM and Simulcast on the News You Can Use Media Network, powered by World One Development. I don't think we live. Yeah. I think this is just a short 26-second. See? Then it go off. It's not.
Welcome to the show that talks about Tulsa. People making a difference in the Tulsa community. Special guest interviews spotlighting local businesses to covering important issues within the community no one else is talking about. The hot topics and more. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to World One Development's News You Can Use with your hosts, Mr. Charles Harper and Miss Damali Wilson.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to World One Development's News You Can Use. We want to thank everyone for either listening on the radio, watching us on Facebook Live, or on www.kbob899.com, or tuning into any of the News You Can Use media networks, which are powered by World One Development. We really appreciate that. I am your hostess with the mostest, Mr. Molly Wilson.
And I'm Charles Harper. It's Wednesday, a.k.a. Hump Day, July 9th, 2025. And we are live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. right here on KBOB 89.9 FM and Simulcast on the News You Can Use Media Network, powered by World One Development. We are set for an exciting show, you guys. You better call your mom and them until then. You can dial in at 918-856-3873 or post your comments on our Facebook Live feed at World One Development.
On today's show, it's the medical report with Dr. Andre Perdue. Our topic, 5 health tips that will help you improve your life.
I love it. Yep. The Stone Awards in Selma, Alabama. Get our response to the 4-day event and find out when we will hit the big stage for the main award ceremony.
And of course, our Hump Day hot topics, which are the Texas floods have claimed 100 lives and counting. Here are the latest. And somebody abandoned hazardous material right in North Tulsa. Now, who did that? Why y'all do that? Birthdays and more.
This is News You Can Use right here on KBOB 89.9 FM and Simulcast on the News You Can Use Media Network, powered by World One Development. Put on your seatbelt for this one, y'all. We'll be right back. Just as involved, are you or someone you know in need of support services? Don't worry, Fitting Back In got you covered. We offer life skill workshops, career development, job search, substance abuse counseling, and more. We are located at 2121 North Harvard Avenue, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 74115. Give us a call at 918-592-3500. Follow us at Fitting Back In Tulsa. Also, visit us on our website for services at www.fittingbackininc.org. Our services are available only in Tulsa County.
Looking to take your event to the next level with professionalism and energy? Contact World One Development. We host events, have radio personalities, offer community engagement and videography. We also do live radio remotes, red carpet appearances, create promos, event recaps, drops, and flyers. We also create customized advertising packets to promote your business, organization, or program. Visit our website at world1development.com. You can also reach us on social media at World One Development. EduRec is the place where education and recreation meets. At EduRec, we have a host of programs such as Spring Break Camp, Summer Camp, and After School. We also have Black History Saturdays. It's located at 5424 North Madison Avenue. To donate, sponsor, or volunteer for any of our programs at EduRec, go to edurectulsa.com. Call EduRec today at 918-430-3947. And you can also visit us on any of our social media platforms at EduRec Tulsa. EduRec Tulsa, where education and recreation meet.
This is news you can use right here on KBOB 89.9 FM and simulcast on the news you can use media network powered by World One Development.
And we are back. So News You Can Use is all about shedding some light on the positive happenings in our community. There are many great businesses, programs, and events occurring in our neighborhood, and we felt the community needed to hear about those things, one, so we can support, and two, so we can be informed.
What's going on, family? I'm Charles Harper, Chief Executive Officer of World One Development, which includes Fitting Back In, EduRec Youth and Family Fun Center, 36th Street North Event Center, and NYCU.FM. My job, because the world wants to know, is to provide leadership for all aspects of World One Development with the emphasis on long-term goals, growth, profits, and a return on that investment. I am so excited and I am so elated to be one of the creators of this phenomenal show.
And I'm Damali Wilson, Chief Operating Officer for World One Development. And my job is designing and implementing business operations and establishing policies that promote company culture and vision. I am also in charge of social media for all of the World One Development entities. If you would like to advertise your business or organization on this show or any of our other individual platforms, please inbox me your contact information on Facebook Messenger so we can talk. I am also happy and elated to be one of the creators of this phenomenal show.
Damali, it's hump day. What's happening?
Listen, summer is here.
It's official.
It is official.
Like a referee's whistle.
Listen, I got in my car and my thermometer said 102. I'm like, what the what?
See, it's summertime when you feel like your AC is not working, even when it is working. Right. You know, you be riding and you're like, man, my AC, somebody called the mechanic. Right. My AC ain't working. It's working. It's just your car will be so hot.
Yes.
You know, it just takes a minute to cool it off. So if you don't have that automatic start, so it be, see, you know, the people that got that little button, see, they be cool.
Like
they be inside with the, she don't do they be like that. See, don't want to say I wasn't trying to do that. I sure be hitting that button though. I'm like,
you do.
Go ahead and start
Look,
up.
I get in my car, I'm sweating. As soon as I sit in there, I'm sweating. I'm like, what the world?
It took a long time to get to that point.
Okay.
Because trust me, I done had to do whatever I had to do. You just don't know. Once upon a time, I used to have a clothes hanger just to open the door. You don't know what I've been through. So I deserve
look at God.
To click. Look at God. He's been good. You know what? It's been a lot going on. We've been doing a lot of travel. 4th of July weekend, there was a lot going down. People had a day off, man. Everybody done went overweight, eating all them ribs and chicken and hot. Now I'm getting hungry. See, I did it to myself.
Did it to yourself. You started it.
Hopefully y'all had a good 4th of July weekend and did all that fun stuff. But we are middle of the week. It's Wednesday's hump day. And our goal today is help you get over the hump.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are excited to be back behind the microphone.
Yes.
I mean, you know, because we got a lot of great stuff to tell y'all. So I think
we got some stuff today.
Yeah, maybe we should just jump on into it and get the show started.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, but before we get started, we want to send out prayers to the families of all of those who lost their lives as a result of those flash floods that have been happening in Texas.
Man,
That is crazy. And those children, man, at Camp Mystic, I just cannot even imagine being a parent, sending your child off to a Christian camp,
right.
and then your child never coming back, and you don't even know where your baby is at. I just cannot. That is just
Damali,
devastating.
to me, I don't know. I cannot move beyond that. It's just unacceptable.
Yes.
In 2025,
It's
with all of this technology,
Yep.
with everything that's going on, I cannot understand for the life of me how can this happen
right.
today. It just don't make no sense. Can you make it make sense for me? Maybe
No,
you can help
it
me
does.
out.
It doesn't. It does not make sense. Now, the one thing that I did hear is that they got the alert in the middle of the night, so it was like when everybody was sleeping. But still, I just, I'm like, we didn't know that this rain was coming before then. I'm like, what? I'm confused.
Yeah, that don't make sense. You talking about 30 feet in like 30 minutes?
Yeah.
I don't look. I'm not a meteorologist. Maybe we need to get a meteorologist on here.
Right?
And but in
this is
Texas, you know what I'm talking about?
Sad.
And so it keep me, I'm not trying to move away from the sadness of these people losing their life like that, just like instantly. But at the same time, I'm like, come on, Texas. Come on, governor.
We got to do
Come
that.
on, somebody. You got to give people more of a heads up. Meaning, even if the alarm went off.
There's a potential,
That's not enough time.
Yeah,
And then I even did a little research, Damali. I do a little research. And then I found out back in like 1987, same place, same situation happened.
No way.
So it's not like this a first time, just like a one-time wonder. And I just, man, sometimes, look, here's the ticket now. We all human.
Yeah.
And we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
Now, we all human. Me too. But that's a tough one, Damali, right there.
That's tough.
You got to have some checks and balances in place. Not one person. It should be about 20 people.
Yeah.
On the lookout for something like that. But that's like tornadoes coming through an F5.
Right.
And you don't get nothing until it's in the middle of your neighborhood.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's crazy. But prayers for those families in Texas, man. We all got family from Texas. The one thing with how big Texas is, everybody got a cousin or two in Texas. So prayers for those families, and people are still lost. And shout out to the first responders, man, because I can only imagine.
And that's our hot topic, as one of our hot topics. So we'll talk about it a little bit more in detail, but it's just so heart-wrenching, that you just like, ugh.
Yeah, that's
we just got to speak on it a little bit. All right, so are we ready for our Black History trivia question?
I think I am, because you got to trick up your sleeve, you're rubbing your hands together.
I
don't know if I'm ready, but let's see.
I got a good one this time.
Let's
do it. So y'all ready? Here we go. All right. Who was the first African American to become a member of the American Society of Refrigeration Engineers? Was it A, Frederick McKinley Jones? Was it B, George Washington Carver? Was it C, Garrett Morgan? Or was it D, Lewis Howard?
Read that one more time. Y'all on the live, don't y'all be Googling. Y'all get in here and bail your boy out. I'm just not coming online. So read it one more time.
Yes.
Let's get your answers on the live line too. Come on.
Here we go. Who was the first African American to become a member of the American Society of Refrigeration Engineers? Was it A, Frederick McKinley Jones? Was it B, George Washington Carver? Was it C, Garrett Morgan? Or was it D, Lewis Howard?
Well, it looked like on the live, they not really live now.
They not awoke
yet?
So
they got your boy. They not awake yet. But let me see what I can come up with.
What you think?
You know what? I'm going to get straight to it, and I'm just going to go with what I always go with when I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like a 50-50 now. So you know what that letter is. I am going with the letter C. Garrett Morgan.
Would be Charles.
And we going to see how that's going to go for
y'all
me.
Come on, y'all. Look, everybody, they scared.
I'm going to go to the live. Now, listen to the lineup that's on the live now. So we got history.
Okay.
Mr. Jeremiah Blackwell, Maestro Sigalo on. When we call him history, I was waiting on his answer because I figured he was the one going to bail me out. We got Judge Tanya Wilson.
Hey, sis.
And I figured with her being a judge, she was going to bail me out.
But she did.
We got Lamar in the building. We got Mom. Mom is the walking history book. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe the answer's coming in. So cousin, family, sister Teresa.
Hey,
she's
sister.
Everything to everybody. She's on. Patricia Griffin is on.
Judge Tanya said, can I say the names again? Okay.
One more time.
Who was the first African American to become a member of the American Society of Refrigeration Engineers? Was it A, Frederick McKinley Jones, B, George Washington Carver, C. Garrett Morgan, or D. Lewis Howard?
Just like that. Judge, I went with the answer C, and it looked like Patricia Griffin agreed with me. And so this time, instead of me following her, she followed me. So we gonna see. Hopefully the blind is not leading the blind.
Right.
Natasha Mitchell said, welcome back, Damali and Charles.
Oh, hey, sis.
We're happy to be back.
Thank you
so much. And then on her answer, she said maybe A.
Okay.
She's still thinking, but we're gonna put it down on the paper.
Okay.
And we're gonna try to get on to it. Damali, you got a good one with us on that today.
Yes.
But I tell you what, we finna get down and talk a little bit about the weekend.
Yes.
How was your weekend?
So we had a phenomenal time. We told you guys on last week that we were headed to Selma, Alabama.
Selma, Alabama.
Historic Selma, Alabama. And Mom, I got you. You said D. Mom said D. I'm still watching y'all. So even though I'm talking, I'm watching. Okay. So yeah, we got on a plane, us and Uncle Bobby, and went to we went to Birmingham.
We flew into
Birmingham
to Montgomery.
I mean Montgomery. What
Alabama.
Birmingham?
We're gonna take a break.
We're
gonna take a break. Can we take a break, Mr. Producer? When we take a break, we're gonna jump into our trip because we flew into Montgomery, Alabama. And I want to give y'all a little bit more time to answer this question. Yeah. KBOB 89.9 FM. News you can use. Charles and Damali, we coming right back. We're gonna talk about this trip to Selma, Alabama, y'all. Don't miss it.
The Juice Radio Show and KBOB 89.9 would like to say thank you to all of our listeners and sponsors who donate to help keep our media program alive, reaching the community. The Juice Radio Network continues to expand as influencers in the community of North Tulsa and beyond, but can't do that without your help. That's why it's important that we as a community continue to support the Juice Radio Show and keep 89.9 on the air. The community not only deserves this service, but needs this service. Let's continue to support the mission and giving a voice to the voiceless and donate to the Juice Radio Show. The Juice Radio Show is a nonprofit 501c3 powered by KBOB 89.9 and Eden Media Services, operating solely off the gifts, donations, and contributions made by listeners like yourself. All donations made to the Juice Radio Show are tax deductible and can be sent to 1216 North Lansing Avenue, Suite D, Tulsa, Oklahoma 74106.
It's Tulsa, Tulsa, I see you here in Tulsa. I'm in Tulsa chilling.
We appreciate your continued support and thanks for listening to KBOB 89.9 FM. Oh, yes, it's bingo night. Bingo! And the money right.
Bingo.
It's bingo night. Oh, what a night.
Oh, what a night.
Every first and third Tuesday, starting February 4th, it's bingo night at 36th Street North Event Center.
Bingo night.
Bingo nights at 36th Street North Event Center every first and third Tuesday with lots of cash and prizes to be given away. Doors will open at 6 p.m. and sessions start at 7 and 8 p.m. Game packs starting at only $25 and you could win big. 36th Street North Event Center, 1125 East 36th Street North. Bingo nights. So grab your auntie and uncles and enjoy bingo nights at the 36th Street North Event Center. Concessions and refreshments will be available. And bingo nights at 36th Street North can be enjoyed in a smoke-free environment. Bingo night every first and third Tuesday starting February 4th at 36th Street North Event Center. For more information, call 918-200-9046. Bingo Nights is presented by the 36th Street North Event Center and NYCU.FM. Cash and prizes are based on minimum attendance requirements.
Looking to take your event to the next level with professionalism and energy? Contact World One Development. We host events, have radio personalities, offer community engagement and videography. We also do live radio remotes, red carpet appearances, create promos, event recaps, drops, and flyers. We also create customized advertising packets to promote your business, organization, or program. Visit our website at worldonedevelopment.com. You can also reach us on social media at World One Development.
KBOB 89.9 FM World One Development. News you can use. Charles and Damali, and we are back.
We are back, and we were talking right before the break. We were talking about the fact that we actually took a trip to Selma, Alabama, and we had a great time, Uncle Bobby, Charles, and myself. So Uncle Bobby is actually joining us on the show, so we can talk about our trip. So we had a really, really good time. Very relaxing, but very insightful.
Right.
Event. We actually got to go and do some historical tours in Montgomery. We actually drove around and got to see several things, took some pictures before we took the trek up to, and what was it, like an hour?
Close to an hour.
So,
Close to an hour.
Drive up to Selma. Now I was trying to get Charles and Uncle Bobby and them. We was gonna try to stay at the St. James Hotel. If y'all don't know anything about St. James Hotel, it's rumored to be haunted.
It's not rumored. It is. See, look, let me tell y'all something about me, and I'm gonna tell you something about yourself. Anytime you're going to the south side,
right?
You say you're going south.
Yeah,
there'll be a lot of things going on down south because a lot of things happen down there. So Damali gonna book everything. She gonna call. She'll text me and say we gonna book. We staying at the St. James Hotel. I said, oh, that don't even sound right. Hold on. You said historic. I Googled it. As soon as I Googled, the first thing popped up is the most haunted area in all of Alabama.
Boy, that was a trip.
Yeah, the most haunted in not a little bit of Alabama, all of Alabama. So I was hearing about that and I was saying to myself, what is going on? Uncle Bobby, hey, give the people your take, man. We went down to Selma, Alabama. I felt like
speaking of the hotel, I didn't know much about it until we were sitting outside of it and Charles started running it down. He say, hey man, it's haunted off in there. They say it's haunted. I say, haunted? What are you talking about? They're talking about they hear people with sleighs with chains on and all that kind of stuff going off in this hotel. I say, man, I ain't going off in there. You know what I mean? He said, you gonna go off? And I said, no, so we were sitting out where Damali was doing her video.
Right. She all live, all in there.
Yeah, she all in live doing her video. And I say, man, this is haunted. I say, man, if I check in here, I'm sleeping downstairs on the sofa at the front desk. I ain't going in none of these rooms.
Right, and I didn't even know Uncle Bobby was like me. You know what I mean? So that's why I didn't go inside. She on a live video. She went in and I just closed the door and locked it. You locked inside.
Oh, boy, what a trip.
But when you look, it just does say it's the most haunted area in all of Alabama. They say that it's stairs that's coming up because here's the ticket, y'all. If you haven't been to Selma, Alabama, where this hotel is, the river is right there.
Yeah.
And that's where the boat used to bring the slaves in, right? Yeah. So when the slaves come in, right, then they would have to come up those stairs and it was just areas that you had to be. And a lot of people don't know that. So what they say is all night long, you can hear those chains rattling up and down the stairs. And then also Mr. Jesse James and his people used to frequent the hotel as well, right?
So this is the thing. I was all good with all that. I'm like, yeah. Until they started talking about there's a ghost dog. I'm like, now hold on now. I'm okay. I can get with Jesse James. I can get with the lady she was like the maid, one of the maids that they say they hear her moving around. But now we got a ghost dog too.
No, you forget the dog. See, I can get by the dog barking because I can say, oh, somebody got a pet in their room. But when they talked about Lucinda,
man, Lucinda, when they started talking about all of that, and Charles was telling me all the information, I was sitting down. I was like, wait a minute, hold on for a minute. And Damali, she was just walking down there. She was just doing her documentary type stuff. And I said, man, and I saw people coming out of there.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And I said to myself, man, I ain't going off in there. Ain't no need of me going off.
It's a nice hotel,
so
y'all.
The hotel itself, as
really
far as the decor is concerned, it looked real nice.
Yeah.
But they were talking about them stories of being haunted, and Charles pulled out his phone and went on the internet,
started watching videos and showing me.
Next
thing I know, Uncle Bobby was standing by the stop sign. He had left the hotel, started walking. I'm like, Uncle Bobby, we're not elite. Anyway, okay, y'all. So we'll come back to the haunted hotel, but we went for a reason. So Uncle Bobby, high level.
So wait, before let me just read this,
Let's
and then
do that.
We'll go with Uncle Bobby. Okay, so what it says is we actually went for the preliminary 30th annual Stone Awards. It was a gathering and honoring leaders from 4 states: Tulsa, Oklahoma, Selma and Birmingham, Alabama, Rosewood, Florida, and Memphis, Tennessee. The reason why they were doing this was because Selma represents resilience.
Right.
It's where courage meets oppression on Bloody Sunday, and where we now return to plant new seeds of empowerment, ownership, and unity. It says, let's go back to the bridge to reboot Black Wall Street across America. Whether you're a change maker, entrepreneur, activist, student, or ally, this is your invitation to walk with us as we honor the stones they laid.
Just like that. So I just want to shout out Cam and his team, Uncle Bobby and Damali, early, because you talking about the red carpet.
Man.
With him, the mayor, the councilman, Michael Johnson, and all of them.
Man, you know, Cam is like the Energizer Bunny, man. He got a battery pack inside of him somewhere. He just, that young man right there is
right.
Oh, he's a beast.
Yeah.
Right. So I got to give a shout out to just Cam and his team.
Yes, they
man,
do
because they've been doing these things for years in terms of just honoring leaders locally and nationally and probably even internationally. But man, we felt like it was just family, because it felt like a family reunion.
It did.
Oh, it really did. It really did.
So how much, Damali, I'm just asking you and Uncle Bob, how did y'all know about Selma? How much did y'all know about Selma, Alabama prior to going to this event?
Well, I knew about Bloody Sunday. You know, so just high level, just the main things, you know, knew about that, knew that Dr. King was there, you know, and all of that. But, you know, some of the history that we got, I can tell you the biggest joy for me was actually sitting there and listening to some of those foot soldiers and the stories they told.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. I mean, just being able to hear those stories and to understand that, you know, sometimes we think that when we're in our own individual cities, you know, we think, oh man, this is going on, it's bad. Oh, that's going on, it's bad. But then when you get to a place like that and learn that here in 2025, there is still a golf course in Selma that Black people are not allowed to go to.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, really?
Yeah, the only way that a Black person can come there is if you are working, you know, if you're a groundskeeper or you're a service provider. But as far as being able to go and play golf and get a membership,
so that was something that Uncle Bobby, you happen to be a person that was actually living in 1965 when this situation happened. So kind of what was your take or experience or knowledge about Selma, Alabama prior to going versus being there?
Well, being a little boy, a young man, you know, a kid, you know, my dad's an activist and in the community doing things. And we were hearing about, well, we can't vote. We just can't vote.
Right.
And next thing I know, they were marching across the bridge and all of that took place. Bloody Sunday and things of that nature happened, and you know, we were so upset and stuff like that, and it was just a big scene. But going to Selma, Alabama with you guys as a trio, when going down there had taught me so much, and the reenactment of us crossing that bridge was powerful.
Right,
very powerful.
So for those of you who don't know about Bloody Sunday, I actually am going to read, there is a marker there, and I want to read it. It says the voting registration campaign in 1969 turned tragic February 17th when an Alabama state trooper fatally shot Jimmy Lee Jackson in Marion. It prompted a protest march from Selma to Montgomery that triggered a milestone event in the civil rights movement. On March 7th, John Lewis and Hosea Williams led a group of 600 African Americans from Brown Chapel, AME, we actually went there, 6 blocks across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. State Public Safety Director Al Lingo ordered armed troopers to attack the marchers, hospitalizing 50. 2 weeks later, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and the Reverend Ralph Abernathy led a court-appointed march with federal protection. It covered 54 miles and reached the state capitol on March 25th. In a speech before 2,500, King said, "The arch of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." Racists killed Boston minister James Rabe on March 11th, and the Detroit housewife Viola Gregg on March 25th. So that is the marker that's actually erected right before you cross the bridge.
Right.
So for those of you who don't know, and then of course, U.S. Congress, because that event was televised.
Right.
So it said television coverage of Bloody Sunday shocked millions and
It did.
galvanized support for Congress to remove obstacles that prevented minorities from voting. President Lyndon Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act of 1965 on August 6th. As a result, many blacks won local elections in the South.
So that
Mhm.
sounds like Uncle Bobby. It's the thing where it makes me think about when they don't want to teach Black history.
Right.
It's the same. If you go back to that time, we don't want to let you know what's going on.
Correct.
So until it's a way that you can shine a light on it or cover it where everybody know now, the light is on. We got to do
Yes.
something about it.
Right.
You
Oh, for
know,
sure.
so it makes you feel like it was just all over the country. It was like that, but nobody knew how bad it was because nobody never really covered it.
Mhm.
Because I'm sure we know what was going on in Arkansas. We know things was happening in Tulsa and all these other states. Things are going on, but it wasn't put out there for millions to see.
Yeah,
you know.
usually when events like that take place, some media sources will not play it.
Won't cover it.
And if they do cover it, it's such a snippet of it that you don't get the full details
Right.
of what's happening. And that one particular one, from what I can remember, it was nationwide
Right.
situation coverage
Yeah.
and stuff. You know, I can remember sitting back with dad and moms and them, and what's going on? I'm a little boy. I don't know
Mhm.
what's happening. And we're trying to vote. We're trying to vote. They won't let us vote. You know what I mean? And next thing you know, Dr. King. See, Dr. King, he did a lot for us.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, for sure.
Right.
He did so much that we don't even realize
Right.
Mhm.
how much he did for us. And I want to thank him because, man, that man right there was a powerful man. Who
Right.
did a lot.
And
And
I-
that's the thing that you say about when we talk about not knowing history. See, our kids need to know this history.
They do.
Because what they don't realize is they're standing on the shoulders. People lost their lives. People were beat, and just, you know, I mean, there just are some terrible atrocities that happen to folks just to get the freedom, just for you to be able to go and buy your pair of Jordans at the mall,
Mhm.
and you think you're doing something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people, you know, our children need to understand that, and they need to know what our ancestors suffered so they can be able to do just the simple things that they do.
You know, back in those days, we're talking about the 60s, and when I used to
Right.
cut on the TV and I used to see police officers and people just beating black people
Mhm.
with billy clubs and
Mhm.
dogs, biting them, German shepherds
Man.
biting them, and they water hosing them down, knocking
Mhm.
them down, and just I'm talking about gang banging, just
Mhm.
brutal,
Mhm.
brutal.
Mhm.
And I used to say, wow, daddy, look at what why are they doing this?
Right.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, and as a kid, you don't always understand what racism is all
Absolutely.
about.
Right.
And once you start seeing it and you start growing up and you start feeling it,
Right.
then you start understanding the systematic control over you as a people.
Right.
So going to Selma just reenacted and just revibrated something inside myself
Right.
that I had kind of experienced hearing about this stuff,
Mhm.
but just not really seeing where it took place.
Right.
Right. And let me add this, and real quick, I'm just do a plug. Black History Saturday.
Yeah.
It's going to be at Ed
Yeah.
Direct this Saturday.
It's on
This is the
upcoming
third
events.
year, and it's
Mhm.
9 to 3. So put that on your calendar. Just go look it up. Black History Saturday. Shout out to Christy
Mhm.
and her team. Let me ask y'all this, because this is what it made me think about. One, how good it is to be from Tulsa, because we got in there about 6:30, sat down, and I'll tell you, it wasn't even but 30 seconds that they talked about everything was going on. But they said the reason why we are here is because it's about the resurgence of Black Wall Street. And then they just said Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma is in the house.
Yeah.
And
Boy,
it
they
was
acknowledge us.
standing
Yeah,
ovation,
they were
man.
like,
Uncle Bobby and Damali,
man,
how
yeah.
y'all natives? I got I've been here for a minute, 25 years,
yeah,
but
yeah.
this y'all city born and
Yeah.
raised. How do you feel when you get a standing ovations from foot soldiers from being from Black Wall Street?
And them also saying, man, I gotta come.
Yeah.
I gotta
Gotta
come to
come.
Black Wall Street.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They were saying that all of them, yeah, Black Wall Street, you know, because the template has already been set.
Mhm.
Right.
It's already been set, you
Mhm.
know, everything's there. We just got to learn how to implement that into our neighborhoods, into our families, and to the economic development and everything. Black Wall Street, we got to put that back in there,
Mhm.
Right.
you know, and they know it.
Mhm.
People know it, you know, because we were a thriving community.
Mhm.
Black Wall. Could you imagine, like I said earlier, what it would have been like if it had never happened.
Man, if it would have never happened.
You know, so with that being said, we just got to get those morals and those standards and those things that make us great.
Right.
Because we already great.
Right.
You know, they just don't know it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some of them just don't know that we're great.
Let me ask y'all this, because this is what it makes me think about. Then, Damali, I got to get your reaction to how it felt to you being just a native of Tulsa. But for me, Uncle Bobby and Damali, it's when we come in, we're looking at foot soldiers. So even though we're talking about history as if it's way back where we don't know about it, but the foot soldiers are sitting here live in the flesh. So even though we're talking about history, 12 foot soldiers are here. When the lady tells her story, I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
She's still here. We sitting by her. We can touch her, feel her, ask her about it.
Right.
And she says, look, when I was 14, my mama had a lot of jobs. We had 6 siblings and we was in a store. And she said that this little young white girl, now we're not making it about 2025. We going back to 65. And she's saying this young white girl was able to get in front of her mom. And she knew how stern and how her mom was about discipline. And at 14, it created a fire in her because she was like, man, that is not right. Why does my mama and all us have to wait? And she can just break in front of us and do what she wants. And that's what made her go, you know, and do the march across Selma, right? And then she said, I didn't do it for myself. She said, I did it because I knew that wasn't right and that my mama deserved the vote. So to see a 14-year-old, 14, y'all, that have that in them, and she's been marching and doing whatever she had to do ever since. So not just that, when we come back to Tulsa, I think about Mother Randall. I think about Mother Fletcher. So even though we're talking about Black history, the people still here.
Right.
Hey,
you know what I mean? So
you know, when I looked and I saw some of those people who actually marched with Dr. King, who were in wheelchairs and stuff like that. They were in wheelchairs and they went across the bridge a second time,
right?
You know, or a third time. I don't know how many times they crossed that bridge. And I saw those people with heart. And as we were crossing that bridge, they were singing Black spiritual songs and gospel songs and things of that nature. We had signs and stuff like that, and chants that were going on, and the police department was in the back of us, making sure that nobody could cross the bridge other than us. You know, and I said to myself, man, these bad legs, they're gonna get up in it.
Hey,
you
know, do it, right?
I say, man, one thing, I'm gonna cross this bridge.
Right.
You know, I said, I'm gonna cross this bridge regardless. You know, and we made it over, and you know, and I was the last one sitting there. After everybody went back. I crossed the bridge and I'm just sitting there waiting on y'all. You know, and it was just heartfelt.
Man, I took a picture. My most powerful picture was, man, it was these kids. I don't know why the kids was gravitating to me, but they was right. And one of them said, man, look at his arms. He got us.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, that's what the kid. I'm like, this kid too. Listen, look at his arms. He got. I'm like,
he got us.
He got us. But in my mind, I think that's the importance of men being involved and being a part of it. Because it was a little girl right here with a phone. I mean, it's by my head. It's a little behind. And they you can tell it was something about the ancestors, something in them, because you could see the veins in their neck when they were singing, and you could feel the passion in them. And I was just thinking in my mind, this is 2025. And, you know, we still have to march from time to time to try to get these things right.
Oh, we just did.
Because the reality is this. These things are not that long ago. Even though we say history, we talking about these people still living now. You know, so yes, it's important to talk about the history. Yes, it's important to talk about these things because it's really not that long ago. You go back 1 or 2 generations and your grandpa or great grandpa is probably in slavery. It's not that long ago.
It's not that long ago.
I got to ask you, the standing ovation when they said Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street is in the house, and they just clapped and cheered and had tears in their eyes because they were so happy that Greenwood was there. How did that make you feel being from here?
Well, I think that it reinvigorates the fact that the world goes as Black Wall Street goes. It is not like people think we're saying that to be arrogant, or we're saying that like we all that in a bag of chips. No, what we're saying is people actually believe that. They believe in other places, and we've been a lot of places, y'all.
A lot of places.
And y'all know, because y'all done went on the journeys with us. We've been a lot of places, and what people tell us all the time is we are going as Tulsa goes. If Tulsa can get this right, then there's hope for the rest of the nation. That's what I hear.
That's the
And so
it's a template. Hey.
Exactly. So when you walk into these spaces and people honor you like that, you know, and people are so happy to see you, then it just makes me think, you know, we need to work a little bit harder in Tulsa because people are wanting to stand on our shoulders, right? They want to see us get this right, you know, this race relations, to get it right with reparations, you know, whatever that looks like. It
Right.
might not be actual checks that you're passing out, but if we can get it right with housing, you know, education, you know, I mean, you know, if we can do college, you know,
Right.
for those descendants, whatever we can do that'll give them a blueprint, another blueprint, right, of what it looks like to do right by people that were wrong. So that's what I think is the major thing. And then the other thing that I want to say is, you know, can't get away from the fact that we had sponsors for this trip.
Hey, you done read
let's
my
talk
mind.
about them.
So
We gotta
I
do that.
wanted to make sure that we mentioned those sponsors, you know, so we want to give a huge shout out to TEDC and Rose Washington Jones over there.
And her team.
Yeah,
And
and
if you
her
don't know
team.
about, I mean, she's been 20 years,
Mhm.
you know, over there at TEDC. And like over 70% of all the money that they give out to the community for small minority business and those things like that, that's what it goes out to.
Yeah.
So a lot of what we're able to do, you know, has a lot to do with TEDC and things that they do. So you can go TEDC.com.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's it. Visit them, see the work that they
TEDC
do.
Yeah.
Net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then we also want to give a huge shout out to Aaron Johnson, AJ, over at Oasis Fresh Market.
Get his government name.
Yeah, his government
name is Aaron who?
Aaron Johnson.
AJ. And if you don't know about Oasis, and we told them there, you know, and it has been like 50 years since we had a minority owned grocery store.
Yeah.
And North Tulsa was the food desert, you know, so now we're celebrating 4 years of having that.
Right.
But I think certain people, it kind of, it's something in their spirit say, man, we need to support this. Something in what they do every day says, man, we need to support this, you know. And then, of course, Mr. Elliot Nelson, your partner, our new partner.
Elliot Nelson at the McNally's Group.
Right, right.
For his donation. And then Pastor Scotty Gordon,
who is just forever supporting the great work that we do in our community.
Absolutely.
So shout out to them. Much
shout
love
out to
them.
all of them. And so the young lady that Charles is talking about, I want to make sure that we give some names, because we always are talking about Black history. We do, you know, every single week we do a Black history trivia question, because we want you guys to get interested in Black history, because they're trying to erase our history. Period. Yeah.
But let me go to the live real quick, and then you name them and we'll come back, because I see y'all on all the secret listeners. What's up?
Yeah, what's happening?
Phil Tatris.
Hey, Phil.
Welcome to the show. He is in the building with us. We got, man, somebody from way over in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Welcome to the show. Isham, the
What's up,
fitness
Ish?
guru, is here. Ernestine Broom, which we
Hey,
love
Miss
so
Broom.
much. She says she's watching Mario Johnson,
What's
Big
up,
Snuggles,
Mario?
aka ATL.
Mario.
And you know, he's a history buff, man. Mario, he's a deep brother. AJ, Mr. Energizer with the
What's
afro.
up, Energizer?
In the building, y'all. And then Mario Johnson said, it's a blessing that y'all give this history to your listeners. Our people need to know these things. The little freedom we do have didn't come cheap.
Nah.
Ooh, see there?
Yeah.
I told you.
The
Keith.
price was paid.
Man,
And then
by
Natasha
somebody.
Mitchell said, sponsorships are important. Kudos for the support. I'm going to
Yeah.
come back to the live, but Damali, okay, let's give some names so we can
Yeah.
put some names in there.
So the young lady that you were talking about, one of the original foot soldiers was Miss Ruth Anthony.
Ruth Anthony.
She is the one that was 14 years old, standing in the line in a grocery store, and a white family. White girl comes and just, you know, was able to walk in and get in front of them, and she didn't think that was right, and so she did want to march to help get voting rights for her mom, you know, which I thought that was telling for the time, because some of us are so selfish, we only thinking about ourselves.
Right.
For her to be 14 years old and she is thinking about, I want my mother to be able to vote. You know, it says something about that time period.
Can I just add that her mother begged her not to march?
Yes, she did.
Because she's 14. Because her mama knew, man, police, dogs, pepper spray, all this stuff. And she was
I
like,
love her response.
What was her response? Come on.
She said, Mama, I gotta do it.
She 14,
I
y'all.
gotta do it.
Yeah, she told her mama is scared for her life. She 14.
Said, I never defied my mom until that day.
And she said, Mama, now, based on what I just seen,
that's it.
I got to do it. And since since then she's did other marches, and I'm just gonna lean on this one, because she said one time they wanted to march and they wouldn't let them, and they literally slept by the bridge for a week. Like
Listen,
Mario said, the
that's
stuff didn't come
determination.
cheap.
Yeah.
They slept by the bridge for a week. She 14
Mhm.
because you gonna let us march. So
Mhm.
we just gonna stay here in the road and lay out
Mhm.
until y'all let us march. So they literally had to just come in and say, y'all go ahead and march because y'all would not get out the road. They
Right.
just like, we'll stay here till y'all get tired. So I think
Mhm.
back then they had endurance.
Oh my God,
They had
something
stand
different.
power. Because
Yeah.
us, it get too
Mhm.
hot. We can't get no water. We gotta go home. We
Yeah.
tap
Like,
out.
I'm done.
So that's why we gotta always remember whose shoulders we stand on because we, to be honest, we're just not built like that.
Yeah.
In 2025, I can admit that.
Yeah. Miss Annie Pearl Avery. Annie Pearl Avery.
Yeah,
man.
Miss Pearl, boy.
She was something else.
Yeah.
She
She
talk
was
about a
something to be
firework.
reckoned with,
Now
wasn't
she
she?
cracked me up because she said that she joined the Nation of Islam,
Right.
and she said they was moving too slow, so I had to join the. She
Yeah.
had to join SNCC because she was like, they moving too slow, and I'm trying to get out here in March.
Some
and I'm
people be like,
trying
we got to do something.
yeah, like right now, I ain't got time. So she was I mean, even she was the one. So if
I
you go
went
back,
bowed to her.
yes,
'cause
Bobby had to
Bobby
bow.
did.
You can see the
And
picture.
we went, if you go back and look at the video, as we're walking across the bridge, she's the one that's yelling the chants in the
Right.
wheelchair.
Right.
So if you see her yelling these chants, then you know good and doggone well that she was not
It's
a
going on.
force to be reckoned with.
Right. Uncle Brian, welcome to the show. I see
Hey,
you.
Uncle Brian. The other person that Michelle Mothershed was actually there. She received an award on behalf of her grandmother, who was Dr. Thelma Mothershed Ware. She was one of the Little Rock Nine.
One of the Little Rock Nine was in the building.
So I thought that was like
lineage.
amazing, you know,
Right.
but that was her grandmother. So she was a granddaughter. Kirk Carrington was one of the ones who marched. Joe Smitherman.
Oh, yeah.
He was one of the ones that marched, and he actually showed us the gash in his head.
And
he
it
got
was
a gash,
y'all.
Yeah.
Like a gash, like somebody hit him with a sledgehammer.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
but he was like, it didn't matter.
Mhm.
Let's go.
Yeah.
'Cause we got to get our rights. And he was just so much zeal and so
Yeah.
much in it. I think he like 77.
Yeah.
But he was the one that when it was time to march, it's like, is he the one that blew the whistle?
Yeah, let's go. He
Let's
said
go.
He was the one because somebody asked the question,
Yeah.
how did the kids know when it was time to march? He said, me. I'm the one who told them. I ran through the school and told everybody it's time to go.
And when they say it's time to go, they were
It's
going.
time to go.
It's time
And
to
if you
go.
want to hear any of this stuff, it's all live. So if you go to World One Development, not right where you on there now, but stroll when this show is over because we live, of course.
Yes.
And all the stuff we're saying, we captured it. So if you want to
Yes.
hear our speech during the award, if you want to see going inside the Haunted Hotel, or you want to see the river that the Damali almost fell in, any of that
No,
stuff.
I did not.
Yes,
fall
you
into
did.
it.
They look, she just going to people like, hey, be careful. Hey, and they were like, don't go on without us, Damali. And she looked down and the whole bridge is all brittle. I'm like, if you don't get back over, I'm calling your mama. My mama and say, will you get Damali off the bridge? But she was just trying to make sure that our city could really get a good feel
Yeah.
of what's
of
going
what
on.
was going on.
Yeah,
You know, why me and
that's what it
Damali.
was. That's what
Right,
it was.
right.
And the last person that I'll mention is Mr. Joe Calhoun.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
yeah.
Mr. Joe Calhoun is amazing. He had a sign. So first of all, Charles has a shirt that says "I am a man."
I do.
I
Yeah,
am a man.
and that is actually he's the one who created that, Joe Calhoun.
Right.
He created that. So we were marching with signs that said "I am a man," but then also he was holding a sign, which I thought was so amazing. You guys need to go back and look at the pictures that we posted.
Man.
But he was like, I originally marched in 1965. He X'd it out and then put 19. So all of the years
Every
that
year.
he's marched across the
Cross,
Edmund
he was
Pettus
on that
Bridge,
sign. Huh?
he like marked out that one and put the next year and marked out that one and put the next year, which I thought was just really amazing. But just his demeanor
Right.
and just the stories that he told, just made you relive what
Man.
they lived. And you can see the passion that they had for the fact that even though it's 2025, the other thing that caught me was when who said this? Miss Ruth. She said, young people today think they're free.
Uh-oh.
They are still not free.
Wow.
They
Go
said
ahead and do that
that-
part.
She
Yeah,
did.
they said that racism, she said that
Mm.
racism still exists. It's just in a different form.
Mhm.
So we think that because we're able to go where we want to go, shop where we want to shop, eat where we want to eat, we ain't got to, stand behind anybody in line or, get behind, other races in line. We think we're free. She said, no, you're not.
Mhm.
And I'll just, you just have to sit there
That was
and
a reality
digest
check.
that. Yeah.
Uncle Bobby, when she said, because I think we should respond to that because that was a reality check, Uncle
Boy,
Bobby, for me.
checkmate.
I ain't gonna lie.
Well,
when she said that, what do you think?
I've been saying that for years.
You do say that.
I
You
say
do
it all the
that.
time. I
Mhm.
say black people are not free in this country of the United States of America.
Mhm.
We still got some roads to travel, and we still got opposition out here.
Mhm.
With us, they say we're what, 13% of the United States,
Mhm.
which is a small minority of people compared to the Hispanics are now at 17%, and the
Mhm.
rest are other ethnic groups and things of that nature. We got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
But we've got to get with our young people. Hey, y'all, those who listening,
Right.
we got to get with them babies.
Mhm.
Right.
And we got to start educating them babies
Mhm.
and start putting it into them and get them off of the cell phones and start doing some Black History Saturdays, because they won't teach it in the schools.
Mhm.
Right.
We can't get it in the schools. So you got to get it through your parents or organizations or some type of books and history
Mhm.
telling people to get that particular history.
Right.
And so that's where I'm at with it. I'm like, okay, but it's too many of us and younger people who don't know this history.
Mhm.
I had some young kids tell me, I couldn't have been a slave. I couldn't have been. You would have been a slave.
Right.
Mhm.
Trust
Right.
me.
Mhm.
I couldn't have did. They wasn't gonna be able to do me like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they would have done you like that.
Mhm.
Right.
So we're standing on the shoulders of those who came before us.
Right.
Right.
The civil rights movement of the 60s, where we were more close-knit at that particular time than any
Than
other
ever.
time
Mhm.
in the
Mhm.
United States of
Right.
America.
Right.
You had whole families who were together as family.
Mhm.
Right. And I think when she said that, because and I think the thing about us is we have to be transparent. See, in my mind, I think I might have been caught up in I'm free. Can I just be
Yes,
honest?
I'm
yeah,
free.
I'm
yeah.
just caught up because, like you said, we can jump on a plane and go what we want. We can do certain stuff. But when you sit and it's because of what she went through, and when she said it and pointed out, well, you feel like that because you don't get resistance from here.
Well-
but she's talked about, behind the scene in the education, behind the scene in the health, behind the scene in the pay,
Mhm.
behind the scene in
Behind the
generational wealth, behind the scene. Now,
Yeah.
when you only have less than 1% of the wealth in this country, then how free are you?
Yeah, right.
Ooh.
And one thing I realize is when a lot of black people get $2 past bus fare, $2 past
$2.
bus fare, they think they didn't arrive.
Man, you
I'm
better say
all
that, Uncle
there.
Bobby.
I can live here. You know what I mean? But I don't have to go back there, to the hood. You grew up in the projects.
Right.
Now you done left the projects and you worked at American Airlines job and that fire department postal job, and you able to move next door to Mr. Westmeyer, in the white neighborhood, and you forget about the black neighborhood in which you came. So when your children grow up in different parts of the country amongst other races,
Right.
they never know about where you come from.
Right.
And you never go back to show Johnny and Pookie and them how to come up.
Right.
You don't have any programs over
reach
there
back.
to reach back, so you forget all about it. You park your stuff in the garage and you call it a day.
Yeah.
And I think that being in Selma, and I say here's the reality to that. It's still all the time the first black in Tulsa mayor. In Selma, the same thing, the first black mayor.
That's history.
You go to Omaha, Nebraska, it's still the first black this,
In
the first black that. In 2020, so when they talking, it's like my mind doing this. Because I'm like,
what
checkmate.
about this? What did you guys
Checkmate.
think about when one of the comments that was made by Miss Ruth? Miss Ruth
Right.
was a wealth of knowledge. I'm
Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
I have
know
a
she was
question or
deep.
something on the live. Let me know. I'll read it.
But
Okay.
one of the comments that was made by Miss Ruth is she said that they were struggling in Selma. She
Right.
said they had 9 wards. Of the 9 which is the same thing as city council. So city council districts here in Tulsa, it's the same thing. So they have 9 wards. Of the 9 wards, there's only 1 white person on the council,
Right.
right? And they have a black mayor.
Right.
Mhm.
But she said they can't get anything done. And I said, well, Miss Ruth, why is that? Because the community is like 83% black,
Right.
which
Which is high.
is
That's high,
high. The
real
city,
high.
Selma,
When
is
you in
83.
Selma, when you see running for mayor, ready for council, I seen maybe 5, 6 white people the whole time.
The
We was
whole
there for
time
4 days.
Yeah,
Like, you
I
don't
did
even
too.
see.
White
You know.
It's like you're not highly populated of African American. But
You
back to
don't
your
see
point,
'em.
Damali,
Yeah.
because we get into the mindset now.
Yeah. So she said that what happens is, even on the city council, is that, something is recommended and it's like everybody looks to the white guy
Mhm.
and see what
Everybody.
he says.
And what he
he
thinks.
says is what everybody else does.
Mhm.
Now, how is that possible?
Well,
If there are 8
well-
boards and you only have one white person, why does your community look the way
that's
it
the
looks?
struggle.
But it's the mindset.
That's the struggle of the mindset, which Councilman Michael Johnson
Mhm.
Right.
talked about.
Yeah.
He says that it's so much different division
Mhm.
Right.
of people in their thinking
Mhm.
of the way it should go. And some people are still conditioned with that kind of thinking. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Will act a certain way if white people are around rather than just
What
black
she
people.
said was, white is right.
White is right. And so you think that that's what it is. And Michael Johnson always, what frustrates him, he say, man, we got all of these brothers running for mayor. You know what I mean? Which splits the vote,
Right.
you know, and we can't get nothing done because everybody got their own concept of how our city needs to be ran.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I say,
Totally.
yeah, man. So how you did? He's been a councilman for about 12 years or so.
Mhm.
He's like our Vanessa Hall Harper,
Mhm.
Right.
you know, up there in Selma.
Right.
So it's kind of like a struggle, even still in Selma, Alabama.
Mhm.
Let me do this because I know this has been a long segment, but we're going to take a quick break and we'll come back, hear a couple of commercials because now Uncle Bobby is your radio station, but we still trying to abide by the rules.
Go
just a
ahead,
little
man.
bit.
I'm letting you do what you
But
want to do.
When we come back, let's talk about these plantation homes
Oh,
that we saw that's been
Yeah.
modernized. Let's say that,
Oh.
but you can still tell. You can tell that. This is Master's house. Here's the slave quarters. But it's all decorated now, and it's weird to
let's
see.
take a break because I
Coming
got to
up
take a break
next,
for
we're gonna
that.
break that down. KBOB 89.9
I gotta take a
FM.
break for that
News
one,
you can use
yeah.
Charles and Damali. We coming back. We'll talk about these plantation homes, y'all, in Selma, Alabama.
EduRec is the place where education and recreation meets. At EduRec, we have a host of programs such as spring break camp, summer camp, and after school. We also have Black History Saturdays. It's located at 5424 North Madison Avenue. To donate, sponsor, or volunteer for any of our programs at EduRec, go to edurectulsa.com. Call EduRec today at 918-430-3947. And you can also visit us on any of our social media platforms at EduRec Tulsa. EduRec Tulsa, where education and recreation meet.
The Juice Radio Show and KBOB 89.9 would like to say thank you to all of our listeners and sponsors who donate to help keep our media program alive, reaching the community. The Juice Radio Network continues to expand as influencers in the community of North Tulsa and beyond, but can't do that without your help. That's why it's important that we as a community continue to support the Juice Radio Show and keep 89.9 on the air. The community not only deserves this service, but needs this service. Let's continue to support the mission and giving a voice to the voiceless and donate to the Juice Radio Show. The Juice Radio Show is a nonprofit 501c3 powered by KBOB 89.9 and Eden Media Services, operating solely off the gifts, donations, and contributions made by listeners like yourself. All donations made to the Juice Radio Show are tax deductible and can be sent to 1216 North Lansing Avenue, Suite D, Tulsa, Oklahoma 74106.
It's Tulsa, Tulsa. I see you here in Tulsa. I'm in Tulsa, Jimmy.
We appreciate your continued support and thanks for listening to KBOB 89.9 FM.
This is news you can use right here on KBOB 89.9 FM and Sonicast on the news. You can use Media Network powered by World One Development. And guess what, y'all? We are back.
We are back. So for those of you who are just now tuning in, we have been talking about the trip that we made to Selma, Alabama.
Yes.
We went to Selma to
Yes.
actually receive awards, but we did a whole lot of other stuff too.
Because we know.
And so, yeah, we are nosy.
Let's see what's going
and
on.
so we wanted to share with you. Now, one of the things that we were able to do is while in Birmingham, in Montgomery. Why do I keep saying
I just
Birmingham?
said
I
that before we
don't
get
want
on. You
you
sit up,
to-
Uncle Bobby.
You got gotta
go
She
to
came-
You
Birmingham.
gotta go to Birmingham,
I gotta
Her
go.
Damali.
spirit
gotta
went.
go.
We didn't make it.
We-
But let's just
yeah.
do this. We
Montgomery.
landed in Montgomery, Alabama.
Montgomery.
So instead of
Montgomery.
just driving to Selma, which was about 50 miles away, we took a look at a few things.
Yes.
What we look at, Damali?
And so while we were there, we were able to go to the Montgomery Riverfront.
Man.
Montgomery
boy.
Riverfront was where the slaves actually came in from other places.
Right.
And they actually literally marched the slaves shackled together up this little breezeway to the city circle
Right.
where they were actually auctioned off, and people were there to purchase these slaves.
We went down
Now,
there. We were there.
We were there. We actually went down. We sat on the bench. We actually sat in the space
Right.
for a few moments, and it felt eerie.
And just go back when the show is over.
Yeah.
Go back and you can see the video because we was live the whole time.
But one of the things that I wanted to read is a marker that actually is there, and it talks about the domestic slave trade. And this is what it says. Beginning in the 17th century, millions of African people were kidnapped and sold into slavery and shipped to the Americas as part of the transatlantic slave trade. In 1808, the U.S. Congress banned the importation of slaves from Africa. At the same time, the high price of cotton and the development of the cotton gin caused the demand for slave labor to skyrocket in the lower South. The domestic slave trade was created to meet this demand. Okay, it says over the next 50 years, slave traders forcibly transferred hundreds of thousands of slaves from the upper South to Alabama and the lower South. Between 1808 and 1860, the enslaved population, get this, the enslaved population of Alabama grew from less than 40,000 to more than 435,000. Alabama had one of the largest slave populations in America at the end of the Civil War. So from less than 40,000
Man.
to 435,000. Insane.
What you think about that, Uncle Bobby?
Man, when we went down that tunnel and I was walking down there, I'm saying, man, I'm going down to where they docked.
Mm-hmm.
They docked right there. They bringing these slaves in on
Right.
them waters,
Mm-hmm.
and they docked them and they unloaded all of these slaves on shackles and chained together and came up this tunnel, this ramp that we went down in.
Right.
And I'm actually inside of this place and I'm seeing all of this. And this big old ferry ship out there.
Sitting there.
Sitting
right.
there, just sitting out there. And this water and I'm saying to myself, man,
Like there are no words.
there's no words to even explain what happened. And then I start looking at myself and I said, there's a reason I'm light-skinned, because the melanin was chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
And those white slave ship owners infiltrated our women,
Mm-hmm.
impregnated our women on them slave ships. So when you get to America, a lot of those slave females had babies.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So here in America, we're just like a bouquet of flowers, all shades and
Mm-hmm.
colors.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I was thinking about some of those slaves didn't even make it to the
Yeah,
United States.
That's right.
Right.
They jumped off those ships and just did away with their lives. Can you imagine rowing a boat, everybody in there rowing,
To your own demise.
and you just shackled down? They say the stench was so bad in those slave ships, and the person next to you has died.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
gotta
you
keep
still
going.
got to keep going and looking at them. It was so bad, they said, on those slaves.
Mhm.
The good ship Amistad, the good ship Jesus, and all those ships that made those several trips
Mm-hmm.
during the Atlantic slave trade,
Mm-hmm.
back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, getting our people who were really peaceful people. We were
Right.
peaceful.
And I just, in my mind, you in Alabama, and like you said, they bring you up to this center court, but you coming up with your family. But then they got these, you could tell, because the city is still kind of shaped the same.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got these spaces where they probably had to house them,
Mm-hmm.
so now you come up with your family, but one go this way. Whoever gets sold, you got to go this way and that way. And then,
Mhm.
because I know we can't harp on it forever, but for me, it felt really eerie. And then the other thing, Damali is something else. I think Damali was here before, but like they got restaurants now
Oh yeah.
So where they house the slaves and stuff are now restaurants where you can go eat.
And it's part of the nightlife.
And it's part of the nightlife.
Yeah.
And so Damali was like, I don't want to eat nothing in the city. You
Right.
know, Damali,
Yeah,
me and Bobby
in.
hungry. Me and Bobby's
We
like,
ain't gonna eat
can we
no.
please get just one bite? Because
No.
Damali's like, we'll not eat here. So we got to drive all the way to Selma to get a sandwich. But I could understand what she's saying. She couldn't stomach. I don't want to eat. I've learned and I understand what I've learned and understand, but I'm not going to sit here and eat and dine in a place, you know,
I
where
didn't
something like this happens. I
spending
just
my
can't do it.
money in a touristy location when I know that, you know, slaves were here and the treatment of these slaves.
Mhm.
I'm not giving you my money. No, I'm going somewhere else to go eat. No, we're not doing that.
And you know, another thing while we were in Montgomery is
Right.
when we passed by those plantations,
Mhm.
Man.
them big old pillars outside,
Yeah.
and slave quarters in the back.
Because
Now
Mhm.
they've remodeled a lot of
Remodeled them, but
that, but I'm saying, man, it was
So
slaves
let
in the
me
back.
just let people know some of the sites that we actually saw while we
Right.
were in Birmingham. So we
No,
actually-
Birmingham, Montgomery.
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 And
I'm
then
sorry.
we're gonna-
Yeah, in Montgomery.
Come
Why do
on.
I keep saying this?
Montgomery.
Okay, so Dexter Avenue King Memorial Church. We went there. We went to the Alabama State Capitol. We went to the Dexter Parsonage Museum. That's where actually Dr. King lived.
Mhm.
And while he was pastoring in Montgomery. We, of course, went to the Montgomery Riverfront.
I
We
think
went
the
to
crazy thing is just understanding that he died so young.
Yeah.
I
Right?
think,
That's
I
crazy.
think,
When you think
think
he's
like
older
he's
than
older.
what
my
he is.
generation
Right.
I'm thinking he died at like 50 or 60.
No.
Yeah.
When reality, he was
like
like 31,
31 when he
31.
died.
So
Yeah,
he
he was
really
young.
died as a kid,
Yeah, right.
but
Yeah.
a powerful one.
Yeah.
You
Powerful.
know,
He
just
did a lot.
a
in
lot,
short
but with
time.
all them speeches and stuff, you thinking this is coming from the past. You know, he's a pastor, he's a bit, but you really, man, I really was thinking, man, this man was like 50,
Yeah.
but he was
But you know,
30.
I
He
think
was
he was like
30.
14 when he graduated.
14,
Yeah,
he was
he
college.
was-
Yeah,
he
he
was
was very
graduated
young.
early-
Yeah,
early-
he was really
Yeah.
young.
I'm just saying
So
that
he
because
started his life
we
early.
got kids around 30, give
Yeah.
or take a few years. So just think about
Mhm.
our kids
Yeah.
now in comparison to a Martin
The
Luther
things
King
that he
Jr.
did, yeah,
and what he was
absolutely.
doing versus what 30-year-old man did. But
Yeah.
anyway, let's go back to. But it
So
was
back to
to
the
go to his house.
we went past the Civil Rights Memorial Center, the Dexter Avenue King Memorial Legacy Center, and then the Legacy Museum.
Right.
Then while in Selma, we went to, of course, the Edmund Pettus Bridge, George Washington Carver Homes Project,
Man.
the historic Brown Chapel. It's an AME church. Tabernacle Baptist Church. Now, let me tell you about this Tabernacle Baptist Church. It's actually located on Broad Street.
Right.
The history that we got about this is that anything that was on Broad Street,
Right.
Black people, if it faced Broad Street, Black people were not allowed to go in the front door of it.
Right.
So this church, this particular church, they had two entrances, and both of them look exactly the same.
Right.
Two entrances on two different sides of the building. The side that faced Broad Street is the white entrance, the white only entrance.
Right.
The side that faced the opposite side, off to the side street, was the Black entrance. And that's how you entered. So, and I was just tripped. I'm like, not one building, not one structure on Broad Street were Black folks allowed to enter in the front.
And that's what I'm saying. That's
all those
what,
churches.
That's what
Mhm.
that's my psychological thriller, Uncle Bobby and Damali, is that we talking about history, but these people still here right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they like, no, we had to go through the side and sit here.
Mhm.
Not somebody in a history book that you'd like read name. No, we sitting with the people eating right now.
Yeah.
And they saying this is how it was when we was growing up here.
Yeah.
And
And some places are still like that.
some
like that,
places are still
because
like that.
that's
So
their norm. That's what
yeah.
they do.
I'm
We
gonna go to the
also-
live, and then
okay.
Leon said that it's unfortunate that that's still kind of like the mindset.
Yeah.
Like you understand,
Yeah.
the mind is powerful.
Yes.
You know,
Oh, man, it
yeah, the
is
mind is
very
the
powerful.
battlefield of the mind
Mhm.
is the real deal. Like, man, you got to battle with yourself, no matter what it is, just in your own mind,
Mhm.
before you just kind of roll out here to get ready for any of this kind of stuff, because it was pretty heavy.
So Sturdivant Hall Museum was one of the plantation houses that we went to. And as we're driving, we're like, yeah, that's a plantation house. It was just a dead giveaway. And then you saw all the smaller houses. And like Charles said, they turned it into a museum now. So now we're making money off of the suffering of our people, right? But it is what
Because
it
you know,
is.
you gotta ask. So it's a lot of
Mhm.
abandoned buildings. It's just
Mhm.
huge all over the place. So you know, I'm always gonna ask the number because I'm always thinking about business,
Right.
no matter what I'm doing. I'm like, man, you can't do? She said that it's one white man
Mhm.
that
That
pretty
owns-
much owns everything.
Yeah.
So that's the ticket when they say you think you free. Every time they say something, that's the you think you free. Because there's one. I said, what? In Montgomery, what 80% of the population is black. Is one white man that in Selma that owns all of this stuff.
Right.
And it was one black lady that owns like a 3-story building. They said she won't sell it for nothing. I can understand she angry.
Yeah.
I like the guy that got the house over here at Mohawk Park. He won't leave for nothing. No. But anyway, it's amazing.
So we got a couple more. The St. James Hotel that we talked about, Mr. Waffle. That was our friend.
Oh,
yeah.
Mr. Waffle.
Now we get to the good stuff.
The jam.
Yeah, we was jamming over there.
That was our place right there.
Yeah, no, they had some great food.
Oh
there.
my God.
Mr.
Amazing.
Waffle.
Yeah, Mr. Waffle. The Civil Rights Memorial mural that we saw when we first came into town before we actually crossed the bridge, and the Civil Rights Memorial Park that was out there where Charles was actually able to take a picture because John Lewis is actually Charles's fraternity brother. Well, I guess our fraternity brother.
Right.
And so we were able to get a picture with him. They have this really nice stone that was dedicated to him as well. So, I mean, all in all, it was a
Good
wonderful
stuff,
trip.
y'all.
And I said all that because I want you guys to go back and be able to watch this video again. And then as you hear these names, write them down. Go do some history on them yourself.
Hey, they there.
And find out.
And if you come. So final thought, y'all, because I can tell you one thing I know is I could be on this to the end of the day.
Yeah, we could.
What's kind of your Uncle Bobby? Man, we went down, you got the award, you gave a speech, you talked to the people, you was honored, being from Black Wall Street. So kind of what is your final take before we switch gears?
My final take is Black history is powerful.
Right.
And I would love to see us dive more into it as a people.
Yes.
The seniors need to share some of these stories because they know more about it than the younger people.
Right.
And if they start sharing some of these stories and we start diving off into it, our morals and our standards of living, that a price was sacrifice and stuff, that we may be in the places we are. We got our young people gotta know they can't be saying, well, hey, I live here and I can do whatever I want to. Whenever I feel like doing it. But they gotta understand a price was paid. That you were able to do that.
Right.
And really take that to heart. If a young person say, man, you know what? Price was paid that I got this job. A price was paid that I'm able to fly here and go fly, do this and do that, put on these Nike shoes, do all of this kind of stuff, use these cell phones and all of this stuff, that we're standing on the shoulders of those who came before us, y'all.
Absolutely.
Work was put into it, and we must never forget. We can't afford to forget.
Right.
And, and some of us are starting to forget,
Right.
and we can't start. So I took from that Selma trip all of the things that were put into us from Martin Luther King to Hosea Williams, from John Lewis, and all the other foot soldiers that were there, and also Cam Campbell.
That part.
Right.
Who made it possible for us to go down there.
Right.
So we still got some foot soldiers, and he's a foot soldier.
That's a foot soldier, absolutely.
Cam Campbell is from Tennessee, Memphis. He's a foot soldier. So, I took all of that into it. He's modern day foot soldier.
Right.
Exactly.
So
absolutely.
that's what I took away from it.
Final take, Damali?
Final take is, history is very important, and having a microphone is even more important because we get the opportunity to share these stories. And that's why it became important to us to do Black History Trivia, so that we could enlighten our people about the greatness that we come from. I think that sometimes we forget, we get caught up in what we're doing. And we forget about those who came before us that made it possible. So history is super important. The other thing that I want to share is that was the preliminary award ceremony. We actually get our actual awards. We actually receive a letter from the U.S. congressman, and for this particular event, but we actually get our Stone Award October the 18th when we go to Memphis.
Right.
So, there'll be more of, more things happening and coming up here in the coming months. And if you are looking to sponsor, hey, we'll accept the sponsorship for
Absolutely.
that October trip.
You know what I thought about?
What's that?
I said, boy, it would be nice if we could take a busload of people with us.
That would be amazing.
Something we can entertain.
Charter a bus and just have everybody just
about 50 seats. And
Yes.
first come, first serve, pay $50 and
50, yeah, and
get
get
your
on
hotel.
get on the bus
Get
and
on
get
the
a
bus.
hotel.
Only 6 hours, 5
Yeah.
hours. That's not
6
bad.
hours, 5 hours.
5,
Yeah,
6.
right.
That's not
Yeah.
bad. That's a good idea.
Yeah, charter a bus.
Maybe we get somebody to sponsor the bus,
Yeah.
and then you just pay for your hotel and your other stuff, and we jump on there and have a good time.
Yeah,
Go
wouldn't that
on
be
down there.
great?
That would be
That would be
awesome.
good.
Yeah,
That
so
would be good.
we're gonna be working on that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I'll
what,
say,
3 months?
and I'll say, man, my final take on this before we switch gears
Charles.
is I feel like I'm ready to see what the young people want to do and do it their way a little bit.
Mhm.
And the reason why I say that, because 20, 30 years from now, we very well all could be gone. So what is this world going to really look like? So what happens, our stories, all this stuff we talking about now, if we don't find a way to engage with young people, each one teach one to do something, then all this stuff we even talking about going to die. So I think that the kids, though they're young, they know so much more than we do. They so much more advanced than we are. I think it's so much they can bring to the table, but it's just a certain way they want to do it. So I'm just saying my final takeaway, because we talked about all the other stuff, is let's find a way to engage the young people. Because I don't mind getting in the back seat, putting my shades on, getting some water.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear my shades.
I don't mind coaching. Just say, give me a coach whistle. I can just, if I see something getting there, let me call time out if it get too crazy.
Right.
But other than that, man, let us get a chance to go ahead and see what y'all got. I'd rather for y'all to let us see what y'all got to make our community culture and stuff better than not give you a chance and it just be an ultimate disaster and we just lose us and y'all all at one time. So that's why I am each one teach one. Let's grab one, because my best friend, I was 5 and he was 85. He died at 105 and I was 25, and that's why I'm built, because I hung with a older person. But we got to find a way to get with the seasoned people, with the young people. But I'm ready to give them a shot. So we're gonna take a quick break because
hold on before you do that.
All right.
I want to show them what we got from Congress.
Oh yeah.
We've got this from Congress, and it's from Congress of the United States. And Damali, you can read this if you want to.
Some of it, not the whole thing.
Not the whole thing, but you can just
who it's from,
highlights.
And the highlight.
It's from Congress.
So this is actually my letter, but each one of us got one of these. So this says, congratulations, Honoree Damali Wilson. On behalf of the citizens of the 9th Congressional District of Tennessee, I congratulate Damali Wilson, who will receive the TULSA Black Wall Street Native Descendant Philanthropist Stones and Selma Award at the Civil Rights Awards Gala, Saturday, July 5th, 2025. And then it, just goes on to talk about, facing difficult days. It says, facing difficulty themselves in 1968, the foot soldiers of Selma's past helped usher in the Voting Rights Act of 1965. This was a turning point that spurred Stanley Cam Mentenzi Campbell Sr., aka the Memphis Footman, and Ma and Nine Mustard Seed Foundation to rebuild the movement and to bridge the past with the future. As always, I remain most sincerely, Steve Cohen, member of Congress.
That's like from Congress, United States of America.
From the White House, y'all.
White House.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, man. Shout out to Selma. Y'all better make a trip down there. You see how excited we are. We're going to keep this calendar burning, too, and we're going to make another trip back there one day. But we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about 5 tips to improve your life. Health is wealth. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to jump into that. That's like today was our medical report. But I got my white coat. Damali got a white jacket. And we're going to make something happen, y'all. Y'all stay locked in. Coming up next at KBOB 89.9 FM. News you can use. Charles and Damali. Fitting Back In got you covered. We offer life skill workshops, career development, job search, substance abuse counseling, and more. We are located at 2121 North Harvard Avenue, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 74115. Give us a call at 918-592-3500. Follow us at Fitting Back In Tulsa. Also, visit us on our website for services at www.fittingbackininc.org. Our services are available only in Tulsa County.
Ladies and gentlemen, all new KBOB 89.
Right. Bingo. It's bingo night. Oh, what a night. Oh, what a night. Every first and third Tuesday, starting February 4th, it's bingo night at 36th Street North Event Center. Bingo night. Bingo nights at 36th Street North Event Center. Every first and third Tuesday, with lots of cash and prizes to be given away. Doors will open at 6 p.m. and sessions start at 7 and 8 p.m. Game packs starting at only $25. And you could win big. 36th Street North Event Center, 1125 East 36th Street North. Bingo night. So grab your auntie and uncles and enjoy bingo nights at the 36th Street North Event Center. Concessions and refreshments will be available. And bingo nights at 36th Street North can be enjoyed in a smoke-free environment. Bingo night every first and third Tuesday starting February 4th at 36th Street North Event Center. For more information, call 918-200-9046. Bingo nights is presented by the 36th Street North Event Center and NYCU.FM. Cash and prizes are based on minimum attendance requirements.
KBOB 89.9 FM, World One Development News you can use. Charles and Damali, and we are back.
We are back, and you guys know that the second Wednesday of every month is the medical report with Dr. Andre Perdue.
Yep.
However, he is a doctor.
He is a doctor.
So occasionally he's doing doctor stuff at the hospital.
Right. But he did reach out.
He did.
But we got our white coats on. Never fear, the white coats are here.
Use your imagination.
Just like that, y'all. Let's get to it.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and give you the 5 health tips that will improve your life.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and just give you those, and then we'll be able to unpack that. Dr. Perdue, he's good about showing up a little bit later, to he'll come in and talk about it in more detail. So tip number one, prioritize deep sleep. Not just sleep, but deep sleep. So aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night.
How much sleep you get per night?
Probably about 6.
6, not bad.
Probably about 6.
That's not quite enough. How many he say?
Not quite 7 to 9.
7 to 9.
That's a lot.
Do anybody sleep for 7 hours?
Do y'all sleep for 7?
I don't think nobody sleep. Well, it might be because I do know friends that go to bed when the sun go down, they go down. Right. So I gotta say it's that's not me.
And then some people take naps.
Let me say this while I'm talking. I do like 7. I'm like 11:30, 7:30. That's actually 8.
Right.
So but I have to kind of it's some wind down and some wind up, especially in the morning, trying to get your bones together. But my goal is like in bed by 11, and I'm winding on down, and 11:30 to 12 I'm gone, and I'm getting up 7. And sometimes I get up early, and if I do, I do what I need to do.
Right.
So okay.
So number 1,
rest, man.
Prioritize deep sleep. Number 2, eat for energy.
I like that.
So what they're saying is choose nutritious whole foods and eat so that you can have energy, not just to eat because you want to eat, I know overindulge.
I feel so bad because I'm sitting here thinking about a rib and brisket sandwich. And and I'm sure that just has nothing. I'm just saying, but when it's big and it's juicy and the meat is tender.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's in your eye. Now you see that. Now you thinking about it already.
Now you brought it up.
Now we both gonna be eating a rib.
Jeremiah said he wish he could get 6 hours. I know that's right.
Yeah, I'll put it like this. To be honest, it's the times in which we live. Mm-hmm. I think it's challenging people's sleep. Mm-hmm. Things are just all kind of weird right now. You got rumors of war and floods and people shooting at, you can't mall people shooting and at festivals, people shooting, and it makes it a little harder when you got kids and grandkids and families and people out there.
Have a little bit of anxiety
to just shut your brain off and just sleep, because you feel like the world. You sometimes can feel like, man, if I go to sleep, everybody gonna leave?
In the morning? Yeah.
So I think that our country might need to help us do a little bit better if we're gonna get to like some of these other countries. They shut down the whole city.
They sure do.
Literally, you go home to take a nap.
Yeah.
I was finna move. I think London. We went somewhere. I said, y'all do what?
Take a nap.
They we have nap time. Like literally, like
sign me up.
Like 11 to 2 is everybody shut down
the
and
whole
rest.
City.
I'm like, are we back in kindergarten? Not kindergarten. I can receive it. I'll take a nap, y'all.
Whatever. I'll take a nap too.
But anyway, get y'all some sleep. And you said choose nutritional. I do better with that.
Yeah.
When I get up in the morning, whole foods. Go ahead and hit some.
Okay. Number 3, stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water throughout the day. not Pepsi, not Diet Coke, not water, agua.
Hey, now the one thing I do, if anybody know me, I love drinking water.
Yeah.
And it's weird because most people around me hate water.
Mhm.
But something about me, I sit and drink water all day.
Yeah.
I have no, because in my mind, I think water is the remedy for everything. And it's
Mhm.
probably not working, but
because you believe it,
because I believe it.
that's why it's
But
working.
I just feel like a water is a filter.
Yeah.
So no matter where you have water, it cleanses everything, it
And
washes
washes it out,
everything.
yeah.
And I put it like this: I weighed 210 when I was 21 years old.
Mhm.
I'm in the 50 club. Guess how much I weigh?
210.
This morning I weighed up 210. And I'm gonna tell you what I credit it to. I'm gonna tell you one little secret.
Mhm.
It might not be a secret, but it worked for me.
Mhm.
I saw this thing online like 20 years ago, and it said that when you wake up in the morning,
Right.
if you drink 20 ounces of water 30 minutes before you eat or do anything else, that it will lower your blood pressure, it'll help you with your diabetes, it'll help with your cholesterol, it will help with everything.
Wow.
And over 6 months, all my stuff was regulated. And I'm talking, when I go back to 30, they borderline high blood, borderline diabetes, borderline. I was like, just call me border man. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
But I did that 30 years ago. And with so many things happening, so many people, you implement it. So I don't let that be the only water I drink.
Right.
But I drink 20 ounces. When I wake up, when my feet hit the floor, I pray and I drink water. And then I wait about 30 minutes before I do my regular stuff. And I think it helps my little system stay cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, all
Great
right.
tip. That's a great tip.
Drink your water.
Number 4, they say build strength. Do strength training exercises regularly.
I wore a tank top today, but it wasn't for that reason. I just want to tell you that now. I didn't even see this. I didn't even know that was on there. But I will go to the gym I try to get my 30 minutes 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And everybody always asks me, because I go to the gym like 4 times a week. And I don't spend the night in the gym. I'm in and out the gym in like 45 minutes.
Mhm.
I'm doing my cardio. I'm going to hit a couple machines. I'm going to go upper body and lower body. Y'all in this world, do your calf muscles. But anyway, do upper body and lower body so you can be built proportionately and do that.
Right.
But I'm just saying that in the key, and I'm just dropping little nuggets that I heard about Damali, that I actually do, is, man, you got to do some heavy stuff on your legs, because your legs is your transportation. Because the first thing that go when people get older is they can't walk, they can't get up, they can't. Now you're in a wheelchair. So you got to, do some leg strength training, because that's going to help you, because this is all the transportation you're going to get while you're here. So take care of them calves and them thighs and your hamstrings, because I want to be 100 and still walking,
that part,
hanging out. I don't want to be, stuck.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. And number 5 is protect your peace. Manage stress with meditation or relaxation.
Do you meditate?
I don't meditate, but I do try to relax. Like I wouldn't call it meditation. I mean, just
to meditate, do you have to like bring it in to the point where you go,
I ain't doing all that.
See, don't laugh, don't see.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'm just saying when you go,
no, stop it.
Don't see you. Don't.
See, that's what I'm saying. The silliness on this show.
Well, don't you supposed to do that when you meditate?
No, you don't have to do that.
No, the
you can just sit and be quiet and just
So the hum.
You don't have to.
No, okay, no Negro spirituals. Him and nothing.
If you want to do Negro spirituals, that's up to you.
Okay.
If you can keep a tune.
I don't. You know what? I think I do, because at night.
You think you do want to sing Negro spirituals?
A little bit. Sometimes I need it. Sometimes. You know how they go. But I do think that you have to give me a minute. I don't like to just get into my day. Like, that's why I don't want you calling me, telling me your problems early in the morning. None of that. I need a minute. I think we have to do that. Ain't the worst thing is you who needs to wake up to like drama?
Yeah.
I think that throws your day off.
Yeah.
I'm like, even if it is drama, give me a minute. Let me center myself. Let me get situated.
No, and I do agree with that.
Let me pray. Let me breathe. Let me get my stem of patience together. Because we need patience to get through the day. Let me get centered.
Yeah.
Now when I come out, if you are dealing with something, I can be like, oh, okay.
Can be understanding. And
because I'm thinking that you gave me time to be already, but don't just wake me up and
it's like
I'm like,
goodbye. Click. No more talking.
What is your process in the morning? I'm giving out all my tips. What is Damali's? I wake up at this time and this is what I do to just get myself ready to be Damali all day.
No, when I get up in the morning, I try to get up and read my Bible, like even if it's just one scripture, then I get that one scripture. That's my scripture of the day. I may send it to a few folks and I'm like, hey, I think you need this, and not because I think they're doing something crazy, but because I think it would be helpful. you know, as a life tool.
If y'all got any tips on the live, y'all
Yeah.
let us know now, because we
Yeah.
sharing information all across. What are your thing when you get up? What is something that you do? Because some people be like, I gotta have my coffee.
Yeah.
I got people that do not talk
Mhm.
to nobody, not even Jesus himself, until
Well,
they drink their coffee.
oh yeah.
They
Yeah,
be
I know
like,
some
man, I
people
gotta
like
have me
that.
2 cups.
Yeah, I
You
know
know,
some people
some-
like that. Yeah, and
they
so
gotta have
I
it.
don't do the coffee thing or anything like that, but I do get up and just try to, you know, be with myself and my thoughts. And then I try to get my day lined out. Like, okay, what is it that I need to do? How do I need to do it? You know, and so I try to just get that stuff in line first, because people call you and get you all off. You know, it's like I got 10 things I'm supposed to do.
Like my goal and preference, just in case you want to know, I really prefer not to talk to nobody till like after 10.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm up,
Yeah.
but I just don't want to just, you know,
Yeah.
I just, if I can get to about 10, get me to about 10,
Yeah.
just to get myself together, you know,
Mhm.
just my own life. Let me check on my kids and
Mhm.
grandkids and siblings, and you know what
Yeah,
I'm talking,
and
make
just
sure
do
the
what you-
family
yeah.
good. Then I'm ready to say, okay, world, let's do this thing. Because
Yeah.
now when I start at 10, now here's the beauty of it. We good to about 10 at night. I ain't tripping.
Yeah. Okay.
10, 11 at night. You know,
Yeah.
so when I'm online, but just
All gas, no brakes.
all gas, no brakes.
Okay.
That's good stuff.
Okay, so where are we now? So we're now Hump Day Hot Topics. We're gonna just hit one.
I
One
think
and
we're gonna
done.
have to just go on to our upcoming events,
You think-
because we already at 2:30.
Well, we got to do Black History trivia.
Let's get that Black History Trivia question.
Okay.
Yes,
Let's
indeed.
go. Let's
Welcome
hit
to the show, favorite little cousin April. I
Hey,
see you in the
cousin.
building. Love you, miss you,
Yes.
and everybody else that's on. Especially all these secret listeners. The secret listeners are in the building, y'all.
Yep, and we see y'all.
Isham, fitness guru. What's up, man?
Yeah.
We already talking about fitness, so give us like a scaled down plan, not your plan.
No,
Because we don't want to
he's
jump
insane.
on top of a building, then jump
Exactly.
off.
Exactly.
We just want to be able to walk by the building at a high rate of speed. A fast walk is all we need. Come on.
All right, so here we go. Black History Trivia. We're going to forego the Hump Day Hot Topic today. Black History Trivia. Who was the first African American to become a member of the American Society of Refrigeration Engineers? Was it A, Frederick McKinley Jones? Was it B, George Washington Carver? Was it C, Garrett Morgan? Or was it D, Lewis Howard?
I really hope I get this right.
Natasha,
Any final answers?
Natasha
Okay.
said A. We have C for Charles, Patricia, Uncle Bobby. We had D for Mom and Tanya.
Right.
And I think that's all we had.
And AJ, Mr. Energizer, said, Lord, thank you, Jesus. You allowed my eyes to open this day.
Amen.
I like that.
Come on with
That's
it.
just wisdom. My eyes are open. I can see the light.
Okay. AJ says A.
A.
Okay. We'll give you guys 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
The answer is.
The answer is A.
Oh my God.
Frederick McKinley Jones. It says Frederick McKinley Jones was an American inventor, entrepreneur, engineer, and winner of the National Medal of Technology and an inductee of the National Inventors Hall of Fame. He innovated mobile refrigeration technology. Jones has received 61 patents, including 40 for refrigeration technology, and also revolutionized the cinema industry by creating a superior sound system for projectors at the time. He co-founded Thermo King. Have you heard of Thermo King?
I have.
He co-founded Thermo King and served as a sergeant in World War I. Due to his contributions to the refrigeration technology, Jones is called the father of refrigerated transportation and the king of cool.
The king of cool. I like that. Now, Jeremiah, Mr. History, and AJ, where were y'all at earlier when I was struggling trying to get, because that was my second, that I was going between the two.
Yes.
I was between C and A, and it's like studying for a test and you still get it wrong.
Right.
You know, be like, I was supposed to make 100, I made a 97.
Yeah.
And I knew all the answers. I felt like I knew the answer to that one.
Yes.
And came up a little short, y'all.
A little short.
Good
but
job.
Congratulations, Natasha,
Good
AJ,
job to
and
everybody
Jeremiah.
that went A, just like
Yes.
that, y'all. Y'all
All
the
right.
winners.
Upcoming events, you might want to get a pad and paper out.
Let's go
to
through
write
right quick,
these
because
down.
everybody want to know what's going on in the city.
Yep.
You're
And
about to
here we
get
go.
it.
All right, so upcoming events. Soul of Sunday with Corey D happens every Sunday from 1 o'clock p.m. until 3 o'clock p.m. on nycu.fm or on Facebook at nycu.fm and Corey D. Taylor. Black History Saturday is happening Saturday, July 12th. That's this Saturday, starting at 8:45 a.m. It goes to 3:00 p.m. over at Edgerec Youth and Family Fun Center, located at 5424 North Madison Avenue. For more information, go to blackhistorysaturdays.com. There's going to be a neighborhood festival, which has been rescheduled to August the 2nd,
Right.
from 11:00 a.m. until 6:00 p.m. at Hawthorne Park, located at 933 East 33rd Street North. We will be hosting that event.
We will be in the building. Can't wait. We're going to have a good time.
We're going to have a
Food,
really good
folks,
time.
and fun.
Yes. All right. Jazz on the Green is going to happen with Michael Fields Jr. on August the 9th at 6:00 p.m. at the Guthrie Green. It's going to be featuring Andrea Lisa, Nathan Mitchell, Hank Bila, and T. Rush. Also, we're doing the Spreading Hope Back to School Bash 2025 on August the 16th. It's going to be from 11:00 a.m. until 2:00 p.m. over at B.S. Roberts Park on Greenwood. There's going to be food, backpacks, school supplies, vendors, and community resources. So come on out. We appreciate if you have a company and you would like to donate backpacks, then feel free to give us a call. You can hit us up on World One Development on our Facebook page or our
EdgerecTulsa.com
or EdgerecTulsa.com. Right. Either or. And then birthdays. Today's Dwayne Henderson has a birthday.
July 9th. Happy birthday, brother.
July 10th, tomorrow, Nehemiah Frank and Hugh Robert have birthdays.
Happy birthday, family.
July 11th, Trey Foster and James Parker of Ladies of Elegance Dance Group have birthdays.
Happy birthday.
And July 16th, my middle baby, Miss Lakeisha Johnson, has a birthday.
Happy birthday.
Don't forget, you can hit us up on any of our social media platforms. That is World One Development, Edgerec Youth and Family Fun Center, 36th Street North Event Center, Fitting Back In Prison Reentry, and NYCU.FM.
Just like that. Appreciate y'all tuning in today. I see y'all on. We got a lot of people on today. Click share on that because I feel like we covered a lot of great information. Put Selma, Alabama on your list. Stop through Montgomery and Birmingham if you can, because it's a lot of history down there in that southern state, y'all. But we got to go. But to reach us here on the show for advertising, hosting, marketing, promos, community engagement, or to appear live on our show, please go to nycu.fm, stroll to the bottom, subscribe to our page, fill out that form, and somebody on our staff will get with you. And we will make sure you stay up on all of the breaking news that's happening, local, national, and international. This has been News You Can Use. I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Charles Harper.
And I'm Damali Wilson.
And we are live every Wednesday from 1 p.m. until we go off.
Yeah. That's right. So if you would like to promote or advertise your events or businesses on our show, go to nycu.fm and submit an inquiry. This has been World One Development's News You Can Use. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on this program belong solely to the host and their guests, and not necessarily to this station, organization, committee, or other group or individual associated with KBOB 89.9 FM.
All right. Love y'all. And we're going to see y'all next time next week. Have a blessed weekend.
We out.